personal coach started off by myself with a vision that distributors, companies weren't really as committed to helping advisors grow their business as we had been in the past in Manulife Financial. In fact, my last year at Manulife Financial, I was a regional vice president. I never wanted to be a vice president, but I was a regional vice president, and we were going through this whole discussion around where were we going to cut costs and blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of thought, you know what, this is where I want to be anymore. And I was going through strategic coach at the time. Anyone's familiar with strategic coach, and I got this idea about you know, why don't I just get in the coaching business? And I actually talked to Dan Sullivan one day, and I said, you know, Dan, I said, your stuff's unbelievable. The problem is people can't implement it. And so why don't I go out and do the one-on-one coaching, which I really like to do, and I'll kind of, you know, get up, help implement your stuff. And he looked at me square in the eye and said, well, that won't work, Art. He said, we've got an overhead here that would choke a horse, and we have to have 60 people in the room to do our coaching programs. We can't afford to do one-on-one. Which was a very interesting conversation for me to have, because it actually shaped the way we built a personal coach into virtual offices. All 8 of us now have, we actually operate out of our home offices. We have a virtual setup. We spend a ton of money on technology, and so it was a pretty good issue. And so we've had a pretty interesting run over 11 years. I got to tell you that building a coaching business is a lot more difficult than building an agency. However, maybe in today's environment, maybe building a coaching business is easier than building an agency. I don't know. But at any rate, it is what it is. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. So in your on your table, you've got a little brochure here, and I give that to you for two reasons. Number one, I'm hoping that while I'm visiting with you here today, you're going to walk away with an idea or two that you're going to implement in your business. You know, we've had a nice dinner here, but at the end of the day, the real value of this evening is walking away with something that might change the way you approach your business on a go-forward basis. So there's some place there for notes, and then there's a little cut-off area on the side here. There's something that you'd like, if you'd like to be on our newsletter, or you'd like something that I refer to, I just tear it off and give it to myself. Or Fortunato, and Fortunato, who's on the camera here, is also with a personal coach. And Fortunato actually did all of our branding work back about, I guess, 6 or 7 years ago, and then we ended up forming a great relationship, and he joined the personal coach about 6 years ago? Forge?
7 years ago.
7 years? 7 years, wow, yeah. And so anyway, and Forge is going to video this because this is a presentation that I did in London a couple of months ago. Dwayne, my apologies, but at any rate, you were there then, and you're going to listen to it again, but it's nice to have Ben and Gloria here to be part of it, and there was a suggestion made that it might be a good idea if we put this on video. So anyway, hopefully we can really help you in terms of making a contribution to your business tonight. So who recognizes this individual? Vince Lombardi. And Vince Lombardi, at the first of every season, would hold a football in his hand. And he would say, gentlemen, this is the football. And if anyone remembers Max McGee was kind of a playboy, wide receiver, played a key role in one of the Super Bowls, and was kind of a jokester, loved to party, which Vince wasn't really too much in favor of because of the pretty discipline. But anyway, Max chimes out of the back of the room, Coach, you're going way too fast for us here. But Lombardi believed in fundamentals, the basics. And, you know, he used to almost telegraph, look, we're going to do a play off the right tackle. The defense would know it was coming. Didn't matter. They executed so well because he was all about the fundamentals. And what I'm going to share with you tonight are what I think are the fundamentals. Some of the things that I think you need to pay attention to. Now, when Michael asked me to speak, he wanted me to talk about trends in the business and what I was seeing out there, and I think we can kind of make a couple of comments as we go along about the industry. And one of the things I'm going to make a comment on right now is that people say to me, where are all the new people coming from in this business? Well, I look around, there are some young people in the room here. And I see sons and daughters coming in the business. I see people coming in as production support managers and then ultimately becoming advisors. They're just coming in the business differently. And I'm not as concerned about new people coming into the business as many people are. I know the agency system by and large is not producing people for the general industry. I mean, Sun Life's got a system going on, and I guess London does to a point, and Investors Group, I guess those would be the three organizations that are specifically involved in that. But there are a whole lot of people coming into the industry. They're just coming in differently. They're getting different exposure. One of my very best clients, Brad Amlin, was a production manager in the Oakville area. And it was kind of a cute story. Peter Marlette, who owned this business, who was 77 years of age, kind of thought, you know, maybe it's time to have a succession plan in place. 77 years of age, you can believe it. And in fact, what had happened was Peter had one of his buddies pass away with no succession plan. And so Brad had been making calls on him. He tapped Brad on the shoulder, and Brad today runs a very, very successful business. If you would have asked Brad 15 years ago, are you going to become an advisor, he probably would have said no. But he's just stepped up and he's done a really good job. And I think there's lots of opportunities and lots of situations that are going to happen that way. So anyway, back to the conversation here, which we're going to talk about fundamentals. And what I want to spend my time on is, what do I see working out there? And what do I see not working? So I'll tell you right off the bat, this is pretty fundamental. Those that are successful have activity, and those that aren't don't. Those that are successful have processes in place, and I'm going to speak to you a little bit about that. They understand the sales cycle, and they have a strategy around that. They're new client focused. I mean, if you have a business and you aren't adding new clients to your business is dying, albeit slowly, but it is dying because you've got to replace your clients. And then finally, they have a brand. This is a formula for the few folks here from Manulife. Manulife has their cocktail party on the first Tuesday of every month of December, and so there's not many folks here from Manulife, but they'll recognize this formula. And the formula is this: market, the market that you're operating in, times the activity that you have, times your sales skills, times your knowledge, equals your income. Now, if any one of those are a zero, the outcome is always zero. So you could have someone that's pretty darn smart and got great skills, but if they don't have a market, if they don't have activity to zero in any of those areas, it's still a zero. And so as we visit here tonight, we're going to talk about this again in terms of the market, in terms of the activity, in terms of this. And I'm not going to spend any time on sales skills and on knowledge, because I think you get lots of that from your companies and what have you. So here's the issue. Here you are, you're sitting behind your desk, and you've got to determine what's going to go over the front of this desk. Is it going to be emails, dealing with compliance, which is important, doing a bunch of reading, listening to voicemail, or is it going to be out getting in front of clients on purpose, either existing clients or new client opportunities? And therein, I think, lies a very interesting issue. So often when I'm talking to clients and I say, now, how does your day start? Well, I like to come in and do my emails. And I'll set up and I say to them, I'll bet your email drives your day. Well, as a matter of fact, it does. I said, why don't you do it late in the day? Why don't you do it 3 or 4 in the afternoon? Why don't you drive your day based upon what's really important in your business? And not let things like emails and compliance requirements and whatnot drive your day. And therein lies the beginning of driving some activity.